What's up, everybody? It's Isaac from Alchemy here with episode 12 of the Alchemy Devlog. First up, the Alchemy V1 Kickstarter is over. Thank you so much to all 4,522 of you who backed the Kickstarter. From me and Chris and everybody in the Alchemy team, it means so much that you were able to back that campaign and put some faith in us to deliver this awesome product to you this fall. Don't worry, early access is still alive and kicking. We're releasing updates to that every day, but V1's going to be pretty rad. So thank you for coming along on that ride with us. If you missed out, you can late pledge now. We just opened up late pledges, I think today or yesterday. Link for that is down below in the description. And for the backers on Kickstarter, we'll have some updates coming out to you soon. The surveys should be available within a couple of weeks, but we don't have a solid timeline for that yet. Keep your eyes on the Kickstarter updates for more. What's new on the platform this week? We've got X cards. I'll show you how those work here in a moment. We've opened up our import and export features, including importing from D&D Beyond to all users. Those are no longer locked behind an Alchemy Unlimited subscription, so that feature's free for all, and you're going to have fun with it. We've also released some big-time voice and video chat improvements. You should see improved latency and performance with all of our voice and video chat functionality, and we're continuing to turn the wrench on that to make that as awesome as it can possibly be, which is pretty awesome. We've also been working on drag and drop for pretty much all the things. I'll show you how that works here in a moment, and we've got a lot more. So let's dive in. First up, let's talk about the new X card feature. The X card is part of standard tabletop role-playing game safety toolkits, and it's a way to indicate to the table that you're not comfortable with the current subject matter and you'd like to move on. We now have that built in right here in the game experience. Under this cog menu, there is an X card item right here. Clicking on that will send an X card anonymously to everyone else in the game. So I'm going to press a button to switch over to the player account here and show you what that looks like. So this is what everyone else in the game receives when you use the X card feature. Hold up, someone in this game is not comfortable with the current subject matter. And this kind of interrupts everything. They have to press OK to dismiss it, and that's the sign to the table. Let's take a break, let's move on. This is getting a little dicey. So built in right here, very easy to access, and that's how that works. Character import and export, including importing from D&D Beyond, is now available to everyone. You no longer have to have an Alchemy Unlimited subscription in order to use these features. I've talked about how these work before on previous episodes of the devlog, but I'm going to walk through it again today just to show you the current state of how everything works and give you a little refresher. So over here in D&D Beyond, I've got a few characters that I like to test with. Let's go grab Anders Brightwood, a bard that I played in a Tomb of Annihilation game one time. What you'll do from D&D Beyond is click the share button and copy this link, and then go back over to the Alchemy desktop app and click this arrow in the top right corner to be presented with your character import options. So first up, you've got import from JSON. I'll show you how that works here in a moment. And then the one we're looking for now, import from Beyond. Clicking on this will bring up an alert where I can paste that link that I copied from D&D Beyond, and simply click the import character button. It'll think for a moment, and then your character will be imported. Here's Anders Brightwood. We can click through and view all of his good stuff from D&D Beyond here and ready to use in Alchemy. From there, we've got options for exporting this character. So if you click in this overflow menu here and click export JSON, that's going to download a JSON file that includes all of Anders' stuff right to my downloads folder on my computer. So here's what that JSON file looks like. It's got my ability scores, my armor class, classes, everything for that character, including their equipment, their actions, all of that is in this big file. You don't have to worry too much about what's in it, but you can bring this back into Alchemy, and some third-party developers also work on tools that help you manipulate this and work with it to bring in other bits of content into Alchemy. So I'll take this one, and I'm going to find the name here and change it. So instead of Anders Brightwood, we're going to name this guy the very original and creative name, Devlog 12 Guy. Let's jump back into the Alchemy desktop app and let's try out that import JSON feature up here in the top corner. So you can't see my file picker dialog right now, but my operating system is presenting me with a file picker, and I'm going to choose that JSON file that we just edited and click the open button to bring it back into Alchemy. And there it is. There's Devlog 12 guy that we had updated the name of. So I took Anders from D&D Beyond, brought him into Alchemy, sent him out to JSON, edited the JSON by hand, and brought him back in. You can also do this in universes under your universe. You can do this under the NPCs tab with JSON files. So import a JSON file. If you happen to have JSON that's compatible with Alchemy for a character, you can bring it in as an NPC. And you can also do that with premades. You can see I've been testing Anders a lot here in this particular universe by using the import from Beyond function or by importing that JSON file. You can also export from many of these places, although apparently not this one. You have to open the character sheet and then choose export JSON from here. And you can do this with NPCs as well, just by opening their character sheet, opening the edit mode, and then export JSON to download that file. If you are a developer or someone who likes JSON and wants to do more with it, I encourage you to join our Discord server and choose the developers role on there, and you'll get access to a developers channel where you can chat with other devs and talk about cool stuff related to JSON import and work on some tools together. All right, let's get back in the game experience and talk about voice chat and video chat improvements. We've got some great new stuff out for you now to make the voice chat and video chat experience quite a bit better. So let's take a look at what that is like. So first up in your game, you'll want to have voice and video chat enabled if you don't already. So I'm going to do that. And then you can pop open this sidebar as you've seen before on the old devlog, I'm sure. And now one of the improvements that we released this week is you can preview your camera before anyone else is in the game. So you can see me right here. Hi. There I am in two ways. Very exciting. And when someone else joins, so I'll go back over to my test account and jump into this game. Don't need a character. I will bring open the video drawer here and see my camera feed from the other window and go ahead and turn on my camera feed here too. Wow, that's a lot of the same camera. So there I am on my other camera. So you should see considerably better latency and performance of this in the latest release. We'd love feedback on how this is working for you. So please keep it coming. We have more to do here, but it should be in much better shape now than it has been before. And we're really excited about it. We've been using it to communicate as a team for the last few weeks, and that's been really helping us get it dialed in. So shout out to Dakota for all of his hard work on this stuff. You rock. Hope I didn't just embarrass and or dox you, but you do rock. Let's talk about drag and drop. Drag and drop's great. Let's get out of that game. Let's go back over here. Let's stay in that game over here. I'm just going to keep the video drawer closed and show you drag and drop. So many of the areas in the game experience are drag and droppable now. We've had this functionality in a few places, like scenes. If you're a GM, you can click and drag on your scenes to rearrange them, either by clicking on the scene itself or on this little drag handle here, and then just pick it up and move it around to change the order of your scenes. That's not new. That's been around forever, but you may not have noticed it. So let's create a few GM actions to try it out with those. We'll create one very creatively named 1 and one very creatively named 2. Let's go wild and create a third. These actions don't do anything, but I just want to show you that you can take action 1 and drag it down here and have it be below action 2 and above action 3. You can do this with anything in the game experience now. So all of these panels have things that can be rearranged. Handouts are a sort of exception because they can only be rearranged by the DM. The DM chooses what order the handouts should appear for the players, and the players just get to enjoy those handouts in the order that they were given to them. So that's it for the GM side of things. Over on the player side, we've got the ability to rearrange trackers, which is very exciting. Oh, I don't have a character, of course. Let's create a character first. Devlog 12 guy. Just be a human fighter. So once you create a tracker for Devlog 12 guy or whatever you've named your character, we'll go with bar 1. We'll do pip 2. Make this a pip tracker. And then let's add a third one. Let's do another bar. Bar 3. Okay, now we've got our trackers set up. And as you would expect, you can click to drag and drop these to rearrange them in your trackers panel however you see fit. And again, you can click anywhere on here to drag, or if you want something dedicated to click on, this little brandle, we call it, that pops out of the side here, can be clicked on and dragged to move those around very easily. And again, handouts won't show up as, well, those aren't visible to this character at all, but supposing they were, they wouldn't show up as rearrangeable for the player. No moving of that for me. Actions as a player can also be rearranged, just like you could on the GM experience. So we'll take action 1 and move it down here. Skills are affixed. These don't get moved at all. They're just in alphabetical order. And then last but not least, you've got equipment that can be rearranged. Let's add a couple of items from the SRD here, and then decide that we want to move them like that. I think everything in the game experience that you would want to drag and drop, at least on the lower half in the player experience, is drag and droppable. We're going to bring this to the NPCs panel and to custom game initiative and even 5e initiative in the future. So you'll be able to move those encounter participants around in the initiative order. We've been hard at work on some other smaller and behind the scenes improvements, bug fixes, things like that. You can find all of those in the release notes in the app. But here's a quick rundown on some of them. We're updating the iconography throughout the app, or at least in a lot of places. So we've got this nice new mixer icon. You probably can't even tell the difference, but it looks better. We updated this drawer icon for opening and closing the video drawer. And these menus, you have been seeing them throughout this video. These are nice and clean now, especially for things like drop downs where you might have a lot of options. For example, picking a class. You've got nice big options here for clicking on these things. We have a bit more work to do with the menus. We're going to be adding icons to a lot of these here in the next few days, probably. As well as bringing menus to more places. So expect to see those soon. We've also updated the much hated lock icon up here for editing things, like this character sheet here. There's now a wrench, which is our universal iconography for editing. We don't want to use a pencil because we're weird. We like wrenches, they're cool, so that's what you get. Expect to see this pretty much anywhere you can edit things soon. It's already here in the top left of modals, but it'll be in menus when you can edit things and the like very soon. All right, let's take a look ahead at what the team is working on now. I'll take a look at our roadmap here and see some of the items that we've got at the top. Next up on my list is right-click actions. So this is going to be a change that I've been talking about this a little bit for a while now. This is a change to the game experience where you'll be able to right click on things to bring up that nice menu that I showed you to do things like view an NPC or show it or drop its token. We've also got more for dropping the tokens, but that's kind of next up for me. We've also got the drag and drop reordering stuff in progress, and we've got a bit more of that coming. So stay tuned for more dragging and dropping and keyboard shortcuts. I forgot to mention, we just launched keyboard shortcuts for your mic and camera. You can press Control or Command D to mute or unmute your mic, just like you would on Google Meet, for example. And then you can use Control E or Command E on a Mac to turn your video feed on and off when you're in a game with video chat. So we'll have those in the knowledge base soon, but there's your out of order announcement of keyboard shortcuts coming. We'll have more of those coming to the game experience too. I don't know what they are off the top of my head, but there will be more. We've also got token drag and drop placement from the sidebar coming soon. And the rest of these tactical improvements will likely be a little while later as we start to dive into support for new game systems. All right, let's dive into some questions that have come in since the last episode. As always, I've got these in a universe and ready to show. Christopher asks, when you release Kingmaker with the Alchemy Enhanced upgrade, will it feature automated kingdom tools as well as an automated hexploration system? I hate to break your heart, Christopher, but unfortunately that is not on the calendar for us for V1 for the initial release of Kingmaker Enhanced Edition. That sounds like a really cool tool, though, and it's certainly something that I'm down to consider for a future release. We'll just have to slot it into our roadmap somewhere. Oni asks, would you be able to, or are you considering implementing a visual novel style NPC capability? It would be great to be able to have NPCs pop up on screen as the PCs converse for role-playing purposes. Yeah, we actually have some really cool designs for this that we've played around with, ways to show things to players, including NPCs, monsters, items, things like that. Just have it kind of pop up over the experience. Definitely something that we have really cool designs for and an idea to implement. Whether it'll land in V1, I'm not totally sure. I probably wouldn't count on it because our plate is very full, but it's something that we've considered internally and we'll definitely bring to the platform at some point. Karik Zen, mix-up of old nickname Crazy Ken, I'll just call you Crazy Ken, asks, what rules are planned beyond D&D 5e? Rollmaster Unified, Earth Dawn 4.0, etc. We have about 12 systems planned for the V1 launch. I don't have all of them off the top of my head, and I would do them a disservice if I just rattled off the ones I can remember. So I'll just say that we have a bunch that are planned, and we'll be adding more all the time. And many things can be covered by our custom system implementation. So we're going to be supporting a lot of these through tools that we build for custom games. And so those will trickle down to custom games. Those tools, I should say, will trickle down to your custom games as well. So you'll be able to support more systems through our custom game as we build out support for systems. We also have a roadmap that we're planning for what those systems are and about when they'll land. And I think we'll probably put that here in this modal in the app. So maybe under roadmap or next to roadmap. We'll be rolling this out pretty soon, but I don't know exactly when. And you'll be able to see what systems are coming and about when we plan to release support for those. Also, if you are a Kickstarter backer, we will be releasing beta versions of these systems ahead of the version 1 launch. So keep your eyes on those backer updates to find out more about when you can start beta testing systems as we have them ready. All right, that is it for this episode of the Alchemy Devlog. Thank you for coming along for this ride. Again, huge shout out to all of our Kickstarter supporters who made the Alchemy version 1 Kickstarter a wild success. We are all so pleased and so happy that so many of you came out to show support for that Kickstarter. So thank you again from the bottom of all of our hearts. We are so excited to get this version 1 out to you, and you only have a few more months to wait. So I'd better get back to work. That's all for this week. Thanks so much, and let's go play some games.